Ladies and gentlemen, the Old Head Radio app. A radio station completely curated by Old Head. Nothing but Old Head approved bangers all day, every day. Everything from well-loved classics to lesser-known deep cuts to underappreciated gems to modern-day bangers from all across the spectrum of rock and metal-related genres and subgenres. Also, the home of the live radio show Old Head Bangers Ball. Download the app now for iPhone or Android. Just search Old Head Radio. And we hope you enjoy the bangers.
Hello again, everyone. I'm back for another special unboxing of another Metallica box set. So for those of you who don't know, I have a website, which is oldheadnetwork.com. And through that website, there's the option to contact me. And occasionally people do. And I recently got an email from a viewer named Xavier. And he said, "Hey man, I'm a really big Metallica fan and I love watching your unboxing videos of anything Metallica. I was wondering if you have an unboxing video of the And Justice for All box set. Sadly, it's the only one I'm missing. Didn't have the money at the time, but I would really like to see you go through it. Thanks, love the channel." Thanks, Xavier. I'm glad you're enjoying the channel. And no, I actually do not have an unboxing video of the And Justice for All box set. This box set came out in 2018, and I started doing the Old Head stuff in 2019. So I did not do one of these videos. So you know what? Let's fucking do one. First off, this has got to be the fattest motherfucker of all the Metallica box sets. This thing is a beast. And it looks like I'm number 14,299 out of 30,000. Okay, so no fucking around. Let's just tear into this. So I have already opened this and played everything in it, so I'll be able to do an unboxing and a review at the same time. Isn't that nice? First off, there is a download card, and I don't know. I mean, I didn't use it, so it probably still works. So stay tuned, folks. All right, first up, the one thing that I want to point out is that you get this laminate in there, which is the Captain's Crunch Metallica image, which was created by Mark DeVito. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to put it in the description for this video. I interviewed Mark DeVito, had a big, long discussion with him about how he came to work with Metallica, because he's done other stuff besides this. He's done the art for these fan cans back here as well. Great discussion with him, so I'll post that video in the description as well. But he designed this. This is a cool laminate, has the set list on the back there. And then you get a bag with some cool patches in it. Obviously, I have not put these patches on anything, nor do I think I ever will. But they are very nice. There's a one patch, a Justice patch. Their money tips her scales again. Shortest straw patch, in Vertigo you will be. And last but not least, a Band and Justice for All patch. Very nice. So, of course, it's got the album proper, and it's presented much like the original U.S. pressing, which I do have. I have a 1988 U.S. pressing of And Justice for All. And just like that pressing, it is only in one sleeve. It's not a gatefold, unfortunately. But the 88 pressing has printed inner sleeves, and this one has an insert, so a little bit different there. I know some people don't like printed inner sleeves, but I really do. But these are nice protective sleeves, and the records, as usual, are very good pressings. Everything that I have that's come from Blackened is great. I don't know if these were Furnace. They didn't own Furnace at that point, but they may have still been pressed there. I don't really know. Nothing on the run out that indicates that. In case you're wondering, yes, this sounds very good. I'm assuming it's remastered, and it sounds great. As usual, I prefer my original pressing over this, but I've listened to this, and I don't have any complaints, so there you go. Oh, and there's no way, I have to show the pictures on the back. I always like those pictures of them because they look like they did not want to get their pictures taken, especially Lars. He is fucking over it. All right, next up, we have this 10-inch one picture disc. And then that is the front side of the picture disc. And this is the reverse side of the picture disc. And this has one on side A, and then side B is Seek and Destroy live from Dallas, Texas in '89. So I have the original 12-inch single of one, which is not a picture disc, but it has 2 live tracks on the B side. So I guess, you're sacrificing one track, but you get a picture disc, which is pretty cool. And that brings us to one of my favorite things in the box set, the live vinyl. And not only that, it's a live version of the Seattle '89 concert, which is one of the concerts in the Live Shit Binge and Purge box set. I've seen a lot of people say it's Metallica at their peak. It's hard to argue with that. I have a different peak in mind when I think of live Metallica, but this is an amazing show nonetheless. And this is 3 discs, and so it's got a nice trifold here. Can you see that there? Some pictures there. You got Doris right there, and then a cool picture of them on the stage in there. Some set list stuff and set times and all that stuff. And then the records, once again, are in these nice protective sleeves, and that is what the label looks like right there. Once again, great pressing here. Now, initially, I was kind of bummed because I've heard this live show many times, watched it many times, and I was hoping that there would be a different live show on vinyl in the box set. But once we get into the ones that are on the CDs, I kind of have an idea of why they chose this one on vinyl. Plus, yes, it is nice to have this one on vinyl, but I've listened to this, I think, twice, but most of the time that I want Seattle '89 Metallica, I'm going to pop in the VHS of the Live Shit video. Oh, did I show the back? Did I show the back? That's the back there. Okay. Okay, next up we have a kind of a poster flat here. The Shortest Straw image, which I believe is a Pusshead drawing. I don't actually see his signature on here, but it looks like one of his, so I'm assuming it is. Anyway, that's pretty cool. And then we have a nice little folder here for you to take to school. And no, you don't. You're not taking this to school. You're leaving it in the box set because inside of it is reprints of the lyrics from all of the songs on And Justice for All. On it's not on actual notebook paper. It's thick paper, so don't worry about messing it up or anything. So yeah, there you go. All the lyrics and little doodles from James, all recreated on these cool little thick pages that go in this folder, featuring signatures of the dudes. And anyway, and then on the back, another set list. So very nice. And then of course, just like every other box set, there's a big old hardback book that is filled with all kinds of photographs and studio shit and short essays on the recording process and touring process from a bunch of different people. It's a lot to go through, and all of the books are always just high quality, every single one of these box sets, and this one is no different. Okay, now we've reached the CD DVD portion of the box set. First up, of course, you've got the album on CD in a nice little gatefold thing here. It's just one CD, of course, but it's I've never listened to this, but I'm assuming it sounds good. All right, next up, disc 2, Metallica interviews. There's a few different interviews with the dudes here. There's one from Jason from 1988 and James from 1988. There you go. You can look at the back right there. Then there's one that's just like Lars for a few seconds, and then it moves over to Kirk from 89, and then it wraps it up with Lars from 89. And as usual, they're cool interviews. The James one, you get a little bit of insight into the recording process. And with Kirk, there's an interesting little portion where he explains why they put the album on a double vinyl back then. Because nowadays, you see a lot of albums being pressed and they're put on 2 discs. But at the time, I guess it was a little bit strange. But he explained, like a lot of us vinyl heads know, that when you have that much information on one disc, the quality is diminished. And so they were very thoughtful about that. They've always been very thoughtful for the people that want to purchase their shit. And I appreciate that. But anyway, Metallica interviews. All right, next up, riffs, jams, and demos. Cool picture of the dudes on the back there. And this one is is a little gatefold there with all of the credits on the inside and another picture. Oh, also, all of the discs have little slips on the inside. What do you call those? I guess they're inner sleeves, little CD inner sleeves, and they all look exactly like this. And then most of the discs look pretty much like this. So once again, like the other box sets, this has the riff tapes, which is James has a riff idea, somebody has a riff idea, they click record on the tape player, they play the riff for a little bit, and you get to hear like the birth of some of these songs. My favorite part of this, though, has got to be the Blackened, because the main riff of Blackened was written by Jason. And so you hear him playing the bass riff, and part of it is slightly different than it ends up happening on the finished song. But you hear it's kind of like he's teaching it to James and to Lars, and it's fucking great. And some of these have some real loose kind of vocal ideas from James. There's a couple of riff tape recordings on here from 1986. Shortest Straw, To Live Is To Die, and Dyer's Eve, portions of those songs went all the way back to 1986. And then you also have the Writing in Progress demos, which is kind of like an extension of that. So you kind of hear the evolution of the songs, because first it's just a riff or two, and then it's a recording of putting the pieces together, and sometimes it's pieces from different songs. One very cool thing that you learn from this CD here is the fact that Harvester of Sorrow does not appear to have been a song on its own at the time. And the kind of verse riff of Harvester of Sorrow was being kind of changed around as a midsection for different songs. There's a recording on here where it's attached to Dyer's Eve, and then another one where it's attached to Blackened. So that main Harvey riff of the verse was like kind of floating around trying to find a home, and then they went, you know what, let's just give it its own fucking song, and then Harvester of Sorrow was born. But yeah, these are super interesting to listen to if you're a huge fan. There's one particular track, I think it's just one, that actually has like a drum machine on it. So I guess James had written the song and had an idea for how the drums were going to go. I don't know how often that was done, but it was interesting to hear. And then disc 2 of this double disc extravaganza are the actual demos, the James and Lars demos from 87, 88, which are basically James and Lars playing through the songs in a room. And then if James hasn't finished the vocals, you have some wanna, nah, yeah, whoa type vocals going on. But all of that is on these two discs here, riffs, jams, and demos. All right, so next in the evolution of the songs is, this is a one-discer, Rough Mixes from the Vault. And this one is interesting for a few reasons. These are work-in-progress mixes of all of the songs, and a couple of the covers, Bread Fan and The Prince, are on here as well. So these are like rough, pretty bare mixes, sometimes missing vocals, guitar harmony parts, solos. Sometimes there's a placeholder solo kind of in there. But the most interesting thing about this is probably as close as you're going to get to a mixing of the songs with the bass guitar higher in the mix. Not on all of them. There's some that it's still pretty buried. But on Injustice for All, the song, for sure, there's plenty of parts where I go, oh, I can totally hear what the bass is doing there. And of course, the midsection of To Live Is To Die, which if you have a good stereo system on the final version, you can hear the bass guitar a little bit in that. And before you jump into the comments, I don't want a remix with the bass in it. I discovered the album as it was when it came out, and that was never an issue until years later. Sure, I noticed it, but it didn't become like the groupthink talking point until years later. Another interesting thing about this is that the mixes of Bread Fan and The Prince are very different, because those are from when Mike Klink was working on the album. I don't know if all of you knew that, but at first, Mike Klink was going to be the producer of this album. At that point, he was best known for working with Guns N' Roses on Appetite for Destruction, but soon after this, he would do Rust in Peace from Megadeth. But it didn't work out. I guess they didn't like working with each other, and so Flemming Rasmussen, who recorded the previous two albums, was brought back in and kind of co-produced it with Metallica, and then you get the final version of the album that everybody knows. But it is cool to hear those two cover songs with a way more raw kind of mix and it's very, very cool. All right, next up in the discs here is Live at the Troubadour plus B-Sides. Live at the Troubadour show is from 1988. There's a nice little gatefold with a picture there of Kirk. Oh, and you got Jason on the back there. I haven't really been showing the backs. I mean, this one doesn't have an image. It just has some credits, but you can pause and take a look there if you want to. So this is a fun, raw, energetic performance and has an early performance of new song, Harvester of Sorrow. And disc number 2 concludes that show, but also has all of the B-sides from the Justice era. So the live tracks that were included on B-sides and the cover songs, Bread Fan, The Prince. And so yeah, all of that on this disc right here. All right, up next, Live at the Hammersmith Odeon plus radio edits. So this is another live show from 88 from a little bit later. The other one was from right before the album came out. This one's right after the album came out. First couple songs of this show are missing because they weren't recorded. And the recording overall is not amazing, but still very enjoyable. Oh, you got Kirk on the back of this one. And the second disc of this one has the radio edits of a few of the songs. I Have the Beholder 1 and Injustice for All, which just have little bits cut out of them in order to make them shorter to be played on whatever radio station played them. And so that's Live at the Hammersmith Odeon. All right, and now Live at Long Beach Arena plus More. The More is just three songs from another show aside from the main one on here. Begins kind of fading into the middle section of Blackened, and same thing here. The recording of this one is not amazing. So once you get to this one, I'm just like, oh, okay, I kind of see why they chose the Seattle '89 one to be put on vinyl, because these are good and they're fun to listen to. They're not bad at all, but the quality is not as good. So I kind of get why Seattle was the one that was pressed on vinyl. But anyway, more really fun live performances. All right, now on to my second favorite part of the box set, the DVDs. First up, And Camcorders for All plus Live at Shoreline Amphitheater. The subtitle of this should be Lars Gets a Camcorder. So this, the first disc, it includes cam footage from all over the place during the Justice tour. Footage of the shows, footage backstage, footage in the crowd, like all over the place. Footage of Lars at the very top of the arena in San Antonio. And probably my favorite part of it is that there's a backstage view of the crew guys when Doris is destroyed at the end of Injustice for All. And you get to watch what they were doing backstage during that point. And that's cool as fuck. Anyway, a lot of the songs are like incomplete. It kind of just jumps to all sorts of different stuff. It's kind of like a big ass VHS collage, and I absolutely love it. An absolute blast. And then after that, still on disc 1 of this, is all the One videos and the 2 of 1 stuff from the 2 of 1 VHS. So, you have the original video, the jam-in version of the video. There's even the live Grammys performance of One. And then another really cool thing is at the end of it is the B-roll footage from the One video shoot. So you literally get the recording of each camera angle, each member, couple of the whole band. And it's just honestly like, To non-fans, it's probably boring as fuck, because it's just, you're just looking at James's face during the recording of the song. But just that's a video that is so iconic to me, and I just know so well. And so just seeing how they were set up to do it, and then know that this was what all was edited together with the film footage, it's just absolutely fascinating. And yeah, like I said, one of my favorite parts of the box set. And that's just the first disc. Disc 2 of this thing, a 1989 show at the Shoreline Amphitheater. It is fan-fucking-tastic. An absolute blast. A great show. Great footage. Jim Martin from Faith No More makes an appearance during Last Caress. This DVD here, this is probably worth the money for the box set alone. I don't even know if you can get these anymore. I'm sorry if you can't. All right, the second one. Now, if you look, it's like oh, no, that's Lars. Very similar covers for these two. They didn't work too hard on the covers for these. But this one has another cool band shot with Kirk there. And then on the inside, once again, all the credits. There's some outtakes of like photo shoots and shit inside that one. Same kind of thing going on in the other one as well. But this one, the first disc, is Live at the Stone Balloon 1989, which is a small venue. And there's some backstage footage. There's footage shot from within the crowd, footage from on the stage. And that is another absolute fucking fun blast of a show. Just seeing them playing in this packed little room. I mean, compared to even at that time where they were playing, it was small. But it's a lot of fun, and it's one of the shows where Lars and James switch places during Am I Evil, and Lars does the vocals. Absolute blast, and that's disc 1 of this. Disc 2 has a Canadian documentary for the channel Much Music called Justice on Wheels, and it's kind of like a mini documentary on the band, and you get to meet some of the crew members. There's interviews with Kirk and Lars, a little bit of an interview with James, like he's kind of walking out of the Grammys, but that's pretty much it. And they talk to some fans. It's just it's like 45 minutes or so, little short documentary on the band. Kind of, if you didn't know a lot about them, that's a good way to learn about them. And then after that are the Masaito interviews. I hope I'm saying his name right, but he's a Japanese interviewer, and these were interviews that I think were done in America for, I think, Japanese television, because it's, they're on camera talking to him. And there's interviews with all 4 of the members, and it's great just to get some insight into their mindset and their attitude around that time. It's a lot of fun to listen to them talk, especially at that point, because I believe this was 89. So the album had come out at that point. Had the music video already come out? I know the video came out in 89, but I feel like, there was a momentum that happened like big time at that point. They already had a momentum, and then all of a sudden it went up another notch, and then a couple years later it would go up a big fucking notch. And then to wrap it up on disc 2 here, there's live raw footage from 3 different shows. Some of the songs are from the Monsters of Rock 88 show. But yeah, once again, it's rough. Sometimes it's not the complete song, but it's cool, different video of different shows from the band in that era. And all of it is utterly entertaining. So that's the last DVD. And that's the end of the box set. Seems like I went through it real quick. Did I go through it real quick? I don't know how long this video's been. But before I wrap it up, let's see if this motherfucker works. All right? Give it a shot, guys. All right, so that was the Metallica and Justice for All box set, which I don't know if it is still available or not. If it's anything like the older ones, it's probably not. But if it is, highly recommended. I love this album. I love this band. So thanks to Xavier for emailing me and asking me to do this unboxing. I haven't done an unboxing of Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning, or Kill 'Em All. So if you would like to see those, just put something in the comments or head over to oldheadnetwork.com and you can send me a message via that website, or whatever else you might want to see me do on my channel. I'm open to suggestions because you guys rule. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again very soon.